We're live. Hello, everyone. Hi there. This is Anna, Bella, and Ronyah. We're here to share a little conversation with you guys. On Tantra Conscious Connection, that's our new name, we work with different featured profiles. So we want to introduce these people to you. And today we have Ronyah with us. So we're just going to talk to her about what she's doing, what she likes in the tantric scene, what she's been up to lately, and her specialties. So feel free to ask your questions in the comments and join the conversation. And you will have more lives of this soon. So stay tuned. And today, I'm here from Amsterdam. It's evening. Ronyah is in Sweden. Bella is in Miami. So that's why Bella has this like bright daylight vibe going on. Yeah, really nice. I think we can all say it's very hot, right?
And air pollution, thank God.
Don't have air condition. So I think Bella, can you introduce Ronyah, please?
Yeah, Ronyah is probably one of the youngest people that I know from the Tantra scene, and I think Ronyah, we know each other for 3 or 4 years, and you were 19, I think, when we met, and you were at Ängsbacka at one of.
I was 21 actually.
What?
I was 21.
You were 21. Oh, I thought you were 19.
Yeah, a little bit older.
I think Mark told me you were 19. I don't know why he would, but he did. So, and then we went to India together. That was for your 23rd or 22nd birthday, I think.
When we
were doing that.
I think it was the 22nd or 20. Yeah, whatever.
And that's the cool thing, because I've seen you in something like quite light, like Ängsbacka, where it's like a smorgasbord of all these workshops and you can go. And I mean, you are an artist, so you were more there kind of like with your acrobatics and these things. But then when I met you in India, it was this training that is like a deep dive into childhood, things, like letting go of everything that doesn't serve you in order to be free in your orgasmic power. And that's also something that's, it's in the realm of sexuality and tantra, but it's very different from what a festival can be. So I'm interested in, knowing on the path of everything you've done so far for these years, like where are you in your journey? Where are you in your discovery? And I think that's what I want to start to know from you. And why are you not at Ängsbacka right now, for example?
Well, yeah, right, because the Tantra Festival is happening now. Well, I'm not sure why I'm not there. Like, I didn't want to go as a volunteer or as a participant, and for some reason I wasn't invited back as a teacher. There's no conflict or any drama like that. I know you like the drama, but no, nothing. I'm just not there. But I will be at Ängsbacka at Sexability Festival next week, teaching some sexy stuff. And where I am in my journey, well, I've always liked this deep dive into childhood and the shadow and the icky, gooey stuff that you love and cherish, but also kind of want to get rid of, but also kind of want to be friends with. And I find that it was easier to start the tantric path and to teach other people like the lighter stuff, the more playful, like different positions or a nice dance or something, and then start with the deeper, darker things, because then it can be introduced in a way that's like, don't take it so seriously. But now I feel that with creating more of my own events and my own retreats, I really want to go dark. Like, I really just want to deep dive and scoop out everything that's inside people. That sounds weird, but
So why? Like, would you tell us like why that's the thing that interests you the most? What do you get from that you don't get from the sexy dance or the Kama Sutra and these things?
It's I think that the Kama Sutra and the sexy dances can also be very vulnerable and very deep. And I know some people that have deep dived in their shadows, but don't dare to do striptease, which is kind of odd to me. And I like combining both those things. Like I just recently had my own women's retreat, and I'll have another one, and then another one planned in this fall, where I like combining everything as a journey, like start pretty light and then go dark and deep, and then also finish up with something light. Because really, I think we can get a little bit obsessed with digging in our shadows, and kind of, you know, be in the victim role and just get stuck there and just be all comfortable in our victimhood. And that's why I really want to mix the light and the dark to kind of bring it up easier. Does that make sense?
It sounds cool. So how do you go from not being shy to do striptease? I mean, what's the key then? What's missing if you cannot do like striptease, if you feel like you cannot do it or whatever, like you mentioned?
Oh, okay, this is gonna sound so cliche and you will hate me, and I already hate myself, but the key is actually self-love. And it's not like, oh, you should love yourself and blah blah blah. No, it's actually literally just loving yourself. And that's, I think, is the key to both a nice striptease or good sex or a good meeting with someone, that you actually learn how to enjoy yourself and to enjoy your body. And like when you're aroused, it's easier to not be shy. You know what I mean? Like when you're in the state of playfulness, when you're in the state of openness, it's easier to kind of throw the shyness away. And I have watched some of the most shy, closed people just take not everything off, but most of their things off in a striptease workshop and really open up, because it's taken from like a self-loving, self-pleasure point of view.
Yeah, I like that. It makes a lot of sense.
Have you ever done a striptease?
I mean, not seriously, I think, but I started dancing kizomba like 6-7 years ago, and with that, I became more confident in expressing my sensuality in like a dancing way, and it's a very sensual dance. So I feel quite comfortable with like movement and being in my body and expressing myself, but no, I think it would be, I still would be like a little bit shy in a way, like, I don't know, self-conscious, I guess, because it's like, oh my God. It depends on who it is, I guess, but I haven't done a proper one. Yeah, it's on my list.
Like, yeah, like if it's, I can notice that if it's one-on-one in a private space, it's much more nerve-wracking than if it's one-on-one in a workshop space. And when the people that try these things get the encouragement from the audience or get the encouragement from the one-on-one that they're actually doing the exercise with, that encouragement also helps. I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, you like that? Yeah, I'll show you some more.
Exactly. Yeah, I can imagine.
You gotta try though. It's really fun.
We do. We call you before. Cool.
Maybe if you would tell us about Kama Sutra. I just, like, me and Anna were speaking yesterday, like, isn't that kind of the poster that you saw like when you were in high school and you're like, this is weird kind of thing?
Yeah.
You know, what is it? Can you tell us about it? You know, because I know that
that's basically my reference. That's basically my reference. Like, some had this poster and people thought it was like super embarrassing, and it was like, oh, something with sex and like super, I don't know, shameful. And yeah, that's my only, I don't know anything else. So please.
The funny thing is that this is, even in the Tantra world, this is most people's reference. You think that, you know, in the Tantra, in the conscious community, people will be like, oh, wow, yeah, Kama Sutra is this and that. But they're like, oh, so you do the positions. I'm like, sure, I do that too. But in my worldview, or like if you look at the actual book, like it's a proper book, it's an instruction manual of sorts on how to be a good lover and a good partner to your spouse. And so the Kama Sutra includes actually 64 different arts that you have to be able to do to actually be a good partner. And then amongst those is like dancing, singing, the art of making a bed, the art of perfuming yourself, mining, tattooing, carpentry, like all sorts of weird stuff, but that all go together in creating a good partnership and a good relationship. And in like what the work that I do with Kama Sutra, like it's easy to reel people in with like, oh yeah, I'm going to show you some fun, playful positions so you don't feel as embarrassed during sex. And that's good. Like during my workshops, we get to try different positions and postures and angles, and they get to transfer without getting a leg cramp and all that, which is good. But then the next step, if you want to go deeper, is actually like, okay, what if I want this in a partner? What can I do to become a better partner, a better lover? Taking sex step by step. How do we create foreplay? Maybe we just don't have sex one day, just look at each other naked, or just shower, or maybe I can sing her a song, or like take it even deeper into actually becoming just a good, interesting person, basically.
So this was meant for partnership, right? It was meant for people. So is it where did you say it comes from? Is it from India, and how old is it? And so it was meant when you are in a partnership. It wasn't meant to be like this best lover that can, like it's meant to be in like a union, right?
Well, it's meant, like it is meant also for courtesans, of course, like the courtesans or the prostitutes, if you want to say it like that, of the kings. But it is essentially like it's meant for partnerships, it's meant for married couples, and it's made also for courtship, like before marriage. But then the courtship, of course, continues during marriage and during your partnership, because it can just never stop.
Mm-hmm. And what is because I know that you're super into health, and you also do, I can't even remember what that is. What is the health thing that you do that's from India as well?
Ayurveda.
The Ayurveda, but there's something. I guess it's the cleansing or something. I was thinking about. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about that this morning actually, because I was like, oh, I want to look into that again. So is it something that it also has to do with the health aspect, or does it have like hormonally with the health aspect? Like, how would you say that the Kama Sutra goes together with health and well-being?
How does sex and happy relationships go together with our well-being? It's like it's a pretty easy answer. Like I could answer with just saying that men live approximately 5 years longer if they're married, even if the relationship is bad. So if you're in a relationship, and especially if you're in a good relationship, like your blood pressure goes down, your stress levels go down, and you're just all overall much happier and much cleaner. And then hopefully your partner can also help you take care of your health, because it's much easier to see someone else than to see yourself. And I think just exploring yourself and your inner world and learning how to be both a good person for yourself and for your partner, or a partner in the future, is really, really important for one's health, because our personal relationships are the most important things that we have in this life. I think, at least. Some think it's work, but.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was thinking more because in the Taoist tradition, we have like acupressure points on the penis, and we have like, everything is also has to do with the hormonal system, has to do with the organs. We have like the sounds for the organs. So I was wondering if in Kama Sutra there's something like that actually is connected to our biology. But that's maybe not the way. It's more like a philosophy, it sounds like.
It is more of a philosophy and a lifestyle, but there are some details in there. Like there are some good massage points, and it's like the art of pheromones, for example. That has to do with our health. Like, of course, we have to be healthy if we want to smell good, and like different scratching patterns, how you can scratch your partner. Like, it's not super connected to health, but indirectly, of course, it is.
But it feels like it's so much more than I thought. I really thought it was these like sex positions. It could also be interesting, but it's not like, okay, that's not all that matters, But it sounds really cool now when you talk about it. And like, I'm wondering, like, what do you see? What can modern people today take from this old path or philosophy, and like, how can you use it today, or like, what's the use of it today? Would you say?
All of it?
Yeah.
Can you narrow down your question, because it really is all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would give us 3 things for Kama Sutra that we can go back today and do with our partner, like what would these 3 things that you would tell us, like go and do these 3 things after the call, and then we come together and see about the experience, or whatever, you know?
3 things.
Yeah, I like this.
There's one practice that I actually really, really love, which increases intimacy and increases the pleasure and like the tension between your partner. It's a sort of step-by-step that you can do for several days, and this is exceptionally good if you live together. So the first day, you just cuddle with no sex and no kissing. No kissing allowed all day. Second day, you just watch each other naked. Third day, you take a bath or take a shower together, and you can wash each other and you can kiss, but no touching on the genitals. And on the 4th day, you can touch the genitals, but no penetration. And then on the 5th day, you can do penetration. So one very important aspect of Kama Sutra is actually the foreplay. So it's not just, all the positions and all the angles of the way the penis can go into the vagina, but actually taking your time to enjoy each other and to give each other attention and love and presence. And also one interesting thing that you can find in the book, if you look at the full version of the over 400 something positions, amongst there is like for example, oral sex. It's not just oral sex. It's actually, for example, the woman is standing up and the man is kneeling before her, and that creates a completely different power dynamic. So to actually think about how these different power dynamics can play out in a relationship, how we can gain trust from having more conscious lovemaking in a relationship, like how the presence during sex can actually spread into other areas of our love life.
Mm-hmm. So is that 1 or 2? I don't know. Tell us, is the second...
Actually, okay, so foreplay, presence, and the third one...
Maybe position. Give us a cool position.
Okay, yeah. I can't do it by myself here. I can't do it by myself. Do you want a cool one or a pleasurable one?
I want both. 2.
Okay, so since I can't do it obviously with anyone here, but one that is quite pleasurable and I really enjoy doing, but it can be a little bit heavy, is, okay, so you imagine that you as the receiver are laying down on the table, and then the giver is standing next to the table and it's perfect height and is penetrating you. So that's like the first level. And then if you want to go into a more difficult advanced level, he can lean back because this creates a more push against the G-spot and a better angle. And if you want to go next level, even more advanced, he can hold your thighs, and then you as the receiver can go down with your hands on the ground and be in a sort of bridge position and going with the legs around the waist of the giver. And this, like, usually there's not much force or energy or space for penetration. So this is like more of a nice wave, and the pressure inside, like not all the positions are meant for in, out, in, out. Some of them are just for being there or massaging or just kind of holding each other. Do you get a picture? Maybe
Yeah,
when is the bridge pose, the table out of the picture?
Huh?
You don't have the table, right? Or do you still have the table?
You don't have the table, no.
Right,
But
okay.
it's like a good start, like to make it easier, like to create this 90-degree angle. Because if the penis, like normally a penis is either straight or a little bit up, that's like the general idea. Some are bent to the side, some are bent down, like you got to work with it. But if you work with the bend and you work with the bend like upwards towards the G-spotting, you create that angle. That's always on point.
It is.
Yeah.
Is that what's the cool one?
The cool one. It's gotta be the spread eagle. I like showing that in workshops. So it's like the standing 69. Can you imagine that in your head? So it's a bit of a hassle to get into. Okay, so I can try showing here, maybe, sort of. Okay, so if I'm the giver now, and I stand just like this, and then we have the receiver over here with the belly towards me, and then they sort of cartwheel into the position like so and grab the waist, and then the giver grabs the waist and goes upside down, like spread.
And then you have them hold
yeah, like that. So both hold each other's waist and face in genitals. Standing 69, spread eagle.
But it sounds heavy, right? No, you have to like.
Yeah. Well, she asked for a cool one.
Yeah, I get it. I think I'm lazy for that one, but
it's fun to try. Like it's really fun to try just for a few minutes.
Yeah,
just
okay.
like haha, we did it, because then it also helps relieve some of the tension of thinking, oh my god, I look fat in this angle, or whatever issues you might have. Like if you just try these things for fun, then it helps you take the situation less serious, and maybe there's less tension and less premature ejaculation and less awkwardness and more orgasms and just more pleasure overall.
It sounds like variety is one of those words that
can
give us, right?
Good one.
And that's what I feel a lot of people that are even, in open relating, some of them, it's like not even because they, it's more for variety. And maybe their partner, like they have one partner for that, one partner for that, because we don't include all the colors of the rainbow in one relating. So I like it because it feels like if you have 400 positions and like a lot of different things to include, it's like it's never the same 2 days in a row.
Exactly. And also if you include, like for variety, if you include your emotions, like if you're actually making love with someone that you love and that you cherish, if you include emotions and you allow your emotions to flow, then
you're cutting out a little bit, Ronyah. Maybe too much emotion.
Too much emotion. Now you froze. Hello.
She froze.
Okay, now I'm back.
Now we're back.
Whew, thank God. Yeah. What was I saying? Right.
Emotion. Allow emotion, include emotion.
Right. Yeah. If you actually allow your emotions to flow naturally during lovemaking or in your relationship, that also introduces variety, especially if you're a feminine being, because, the emotions go however they want. And that makes it much more fun and much more variety. And I know, like, when you said with the open relating, like, some people are just completely obsessed with the variety and never getting bored or never getting really truly intimate. And I have related openly, but I prefer to relate exclusively because I prefer to actually choose a partner that, so this partner can meet most of my needs. And one of the needs is variety. So that's like a super, super important factor for me instead of.
I feel like the lack of variety is a big problem, and it can also be a reason that people split up. And I feel like people usually have like the programs, and they don't vary a lot. And like, why is that? It's strange when you think about it. Like, why are we not more curious? Why don't we change more? Why don't we try?
Think about that, Anna. Like people, when you go to the supermarket, like, wouldn't you say that when you look at what people buy, they probably, what they have today in their thing is going to be the same thing they buy next week.
Like the comfort zone, I guess. That's what we're used to, and habits, and but just thinking about it, like there's so much to explore, and we don't always need to chase a new partner for that. I think we can change so much, like based on what you're telling us today. Like we can change so much within what we have, with emotions, with positions, with little things, you know. I think
with hobbies, with all the like 64 arts of Kama Sutra, like learn welding and be happy, or dancing, or literally anything. Just get a hobby.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be variety. Would definitely be the third point. And I agree with what you're saying, that people really don't. It feels like people are really lacking variety, but not daring to go there. Like partly because they're probably really afraid of variety, or afraid of new experiences, which is, you know, super common. Partly because they don't want to disappoint other people and are feeling a little bit codependent. It can
But
be
maybe that's why it's good to do something together. Like, that's why I like the festivals. You go, I mean, whether you go with a partner or somebody else, you go and you can test those different things. Or sometimes it can be now a lot of people, everything's online. But even take a weekend workshop with your partner, and then some of the things in the workshop are going to be maybe silly, and you're like, but you do them and you laugh at them. And then some of the things like, wow, I need to include that in my partnership or in my next partnership. And so there's something, and even sometimes, like, I read a lot of books by myself, and sometimes I'm like, I would like to read that with the person that's with me, because otherwise it's like in my head, and I feel like I am the one who says it. But sometimes when it comes from somebody else, then it's like easier to include it too, because if our partner is like, do this to me, or like, I need this, like, that's what I feel. And I heard you say, you know, our needs, but a really kind of bad way sometimes to start a relationship, or when you're in a relationship, it's like, this is what I need from you. That often doesn't work, because already when somebody needs something for you, that person steps back. So there are more playful ways of including new things, and that can come more, that doesn't come from a need, but it comes from like a mutual empowerment, or a mutual exploration, or a mutual discovery. That's what I feel, because then both people feel like they choose it. There's not like it feels like I'm giving it to you because you need it, and otherwise you're going to be unhappy, you know.
Oh, I just remembered a fourth point.
Yeah, go.
Because you said that actually learn to give. Like, not giving from a point of, oh, I don't want to have sex today, so I'm just going to give you a blowjob to get rid of you. Actually learn to give from the heart and from your soul, and that you want to give to the other person. And really like track your gut feeling and your feeling in your genitals or your thoughts. Like, okay, so why am I doing this right now? Why am I giving it? But there's so much pleasure for me personally. Like, there's so much pleasure in giving and making the other person happy. And there can be so much healing in the other person actually being able to receive, which also introduces variety.
Yeah, do you give because you want something, or do you give because you truly want to give unconditionally? I feel like, I mean, that's one of the probably biggest questions for humans, and it feels very different when somebody gives to you without any strings attached, without expecting anything. That's for sure. It feels very, very different.
I think that there's a big topic about this unconditionality. It's a completely different Facebook Live. But what I notice is when we give unconditionally, we don't really give unconditionally. Like, if I give without expecting anything back, it's because I'm already receiving through giving. I'm already getting what I need because I want to give, and I want to make them happy, and it makes me to make them happy. So technically, it's not completely altruistic. Technically, I am getting something out of it, if you think about it.
But it's also like, I had this, I interviewed Sia for my podcast, and we talked about this, like, love taking instead of love making and things. But we also talked about, I mean, it must be okay to sometimes ask for things, right? Like, okay, I would like you to, like, express your desires. It's also like sometimes in the Tantra world, I feel like, oh my God, you're not allowed to have any needs. You're not allowed to, like, you know, have, like, ask for stuff, and it has to come like purely from inside and your instinct. And that's beautiful, but sometimes it's also okay to ask what you want, right?
Yeah, for me, it's very, very different to say, like, it's not asking what you want. It doesn't necessarily mean you're needy. Like, I'm more speaking about these things of a neediness that is there and comes from a kind of a victim place and from like, I'm not fulfilled in myself, so I need.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. To start with, like, okay, I'm not whole without you. I need you because of this and this, and then I'm whole, like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing with Tantra that I like to be able to ask, but also being able to take a no. That takes maturity. Like, this is what I desire right now, but maybe that's out of your boundaries right now. And then can I take that? That's loving. That's to be loving back with your partner when they can't give you what it is you're asking for. So they're like, there's so many. I mean, now we could go into many other topics, but these are interesting topics when it comes to relating and when it comes to asking and to also be ready for whatever comes. Like, that's for me, it's a lot about the maturity we can have in the relating. Be daring, but also when you're daring, be ready for whatever is the truth for the other person as well.
Absolutely. And then if somebody asks someone to do something that they don't really want to do, but they want to, like, it makes them happy to feel of service, then that's a way. Also, like, okay, if they're happy to do something for another person, great, because then they're fulfilled as well. Definitely. And then everyone's happy in the end. But what I liked, what you mentioned about actually being able to take a no, I think it's correlated with the way that the other person says their no. Like, we can say no in completely different ways. For some people, no matter how nicely you say a no, they still like, oh no, why did you say no to me? I'm such a, everything is so terrible, and just can't take it. And then some people say a no in such a way that it's just like, oh, you're walking, and then suddenly there's a wall in front of you. And there's nothing you can do. There's just a wall, a brick wall, and it's there, and it's like, oh, okay. That's a good no. That is just there, and it's like, oh, I'll just go around then, without any spikes or without any wounds or without any like tension behind it, and just being able to own your no and be okay with your no.
Yeah, and then there's always the thing, no, that doesn't feel good, but what if we do this instead? You know?
Yeah.
Also, then you don't kind of cut the flow. You say, okay, no, that's not exactly what I can say yes to, but what if we do this? And then there is a kind of cooperation, teamwork anyway to keep on interacting, to keep the flow. So that's maybe another way of not just like putting the brick wall there, maybe, you know, everything gets cold.
Yeah, exactly. To be able to meet some needs, but it perhaps in a different way, and offer like some sort of opening. Yeah. I'm not saying that the brick wall is cold, but it's just the fact that I can't do anything about it makes it feel safe. You know what I mean? Like, have you experienced that? If it's a no, it's like, oh no, and I feel bad about it, then it's a brick wall that's attacking me, I guess, or piano falling on my head. I'm not really sure about the metaphors. It's getting late. But if it's just there and it's present, then it feels safe because I know that I didn't do anything wrong, and that makes it okay.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be an emotion in it. It can just be exactly, that's not that person's truth in the moment, and there's nothing more to interpret about it. It's not about anybody being wrong. Yeah, I can see that.
No, we just completely changed topics, almost completely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted people to feel into you because you are going to be with us, Ronyah. Do you want to tell us before we end about your next thing that you are giving to people, maybe, or like where they can find more resources on Kama Sutra, if it's with you, if you do sessions, if you do your next retreat, how can people interact with you?
All right, so I do private sessions, both for couples and for singles. Like, no matter what the issue may be, if it's sexual or if it's emotional, I do a lot of different things. So if you just welcome to ask to write me a personal message or something, or just go to wildmedicinetantra.com and find some stuff there. But I really need to update that website. The next thing I will be doing is a women's retreat, first weekend of October. And it's like a first level get to know yourself as a feminine being retreat. Then there's a couples retreat based on Kama Sutra principles the third weekend of October, which is, I will look which dates it is. It is actually, it starts from Thursday because I like having that extra day. So it's from 15th to 18th of October. And it'll be super intense. Super intense. And then I have another women's retreat coming up in December. That will be like a deep shadow dive into sacred sexuality and all the shadows and all the fun, scary stuff. So that's what's coming from me.
Is everything online that you mentioned now, or is it like
these things are live? So they will be. They will be here outside of Stockholm in my home, which is also a very small retreat center. And that feels like 10 people or 12 people if we really push it. And so these things will be live. I know that COVID is still like super serious in some places in the world, but here in Sweden, like it's getting more and more loose. It's getting more and more open. And that's why I created these things in October and December, because I figured that it would be much easier for people to travel here, hopefully.
Yeah. Maybe. Cool. Okay, so Stockholm, that is right?
Stockholm. I will probably have some stuff online. I'm jotting them down right now, creating them. They'll be coming up on my Facebook page, for sure.
Cool. And do you have any closing words?
Closing words.
Closing words.
No, I want to say that we will see more of Ronyah, and we will definitely do something together to offer.
There's so many people in Stockholm. Maybe we can even do like a discount for Conscious Connection or something. We'll see. Or like a competition or something. We'll see what we can come up with, because I know we have at least 400 members that are in Stockholm.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
So yeah, let's do that. So look out for that. Sorry, I'm super tired today. I think I don't know, this heat is making me really weird. No, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us, Ronyah. It's so nice to have you as a feature profile. And yeah, we're looking forward to work more with you.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.
This has been great.
Thank you.
And I learned a lot about Kama Sutra. I'm really happy you shared all that and like just expanded my view about it. So yeah, thanks.
I'm glad to hear that. Thanks so much. Well, I'll be happy to create more and learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.